What's going on, guys? McIntyre here, and today we're going to be talking about the newest hot topic in Heroes, Deathwing. Deathwing has 4 major characteristics. He is permanently unstoppable, he has a rechargeable mana bar known as being manaless, he cannot be healed, and he has 4 10 armor chunks adding up to 40 armor. This armor is lost after a chunk is lost in increments of 10 armor. Healing for Deathwing can only be done through globes and tapping the well, but in order to get armor back, Deathwing is required to use his mount move, which is called Dragonflight. While in Dragonflight, Deathwing sustains 2% healing back in the form of regen, and this regen allows him to gain the armor chunks back if healed to full. Similar to Abadig, it can be used anywhere you have vision on the map, but keeps you off the map, healing as long as you want. Abilities will be put on a low CD, so they can't be instantly cast when landing after using Dragonflight. With these major characteristics and core of his character, I believe that Deathwing will be a bruiser, as he's not really a main tank, as he can't be sustained and healed by the support, but he's also not a fragile character, and he's not afraid to get into the fray of the team fight. Almost as if he's a melee assassin in some cases, as he's gonna provide a lot of damage and be his own boss, if that makes sense. Deathwing is unique when it comes to his abilities. Upon landing from Dragonflight, Deathwing can take 2 forms. These forms can also be switched on the ground using your passive. The first form is Destroyer form. It's a melee form where his abilities turn into more close range abilities, and his second form is the Worldbreaker form. More ranged abilities in this form. These abilities are good at zoning and disruption of the enemy team. While in both forms, Deathwing's Q is Molten Flame, very similar to Diablo's Lightning Breath in shape and form, honestly. After wind up, he breathes fire in a direction. The difference here is that he can't spin or move after casting the breath, and he cannot be disrupted because he is unstoppable. It seems like the main damage ability for him, as well as his wave clear ability. For Deathwing's Destroyer melee form, W becomes Incinerate. It's a circle AoE around him, dealing damage. It's just a flame pulse that pops up after a few seconds. Something that seems like will be the case if you want to fly into their team and be in the middle of them. You're going to want to go into this form. His E ability, Onslaught, allows you to get into the middle of their enemy team by dashing you forward a short distance, slowing all heroes hit, and dealing extra damage at the tip of the charge. This is similar to Genji's E talent at level 4, or at the tail end of where you're dashing, you're going to deal extra damage. I think this ability is both intended as an engage and an escape. For Deathwing's Worldbreaker ranged form, his W becomes Lava Burst. It slams a pool of lava on the ground that damages and slows. This ability reminded me a lot of Slowing Sands on a much smaller scale that also deals damage. I think its use is similar to it, in which you want to zone the enemy team from moving through a certain terrain or area, and in this case you're going to deal damage to them as well. Deathwing's E becomes 2 mini Sunder lines that cast in the shape of a V from him. These Sunder lines stun targets that they hit, but they won't push them away. I think with practice you'll be able to land this ability and stun multiple heroes on the enemy team, up to 5 heroes. Basically a ranged ETC slide. Deathwing only has 1 heroic, and he gains it from level 1. Cataclysm. Flying over a targeted area, he scorches the earth below, leaving behind burn damage and landing at the end point of the cast. Unlike Syndragosa, it looks like you can aim which direction you fly and end up, allowing you to fly into their team or away from their team. I think this is important knowledge, as you can place your Cataclysm fire wherever you want it, be it in a chokehold that might go diagonally or up and down. It won't have to go left to right. Looking at Deathwing's talents, you have a few cool ones that we were introduced to. At level 10, Deathwing has 2 cool talents, the first being a Cataclysm reset, which will reset upon killing a fort or keep. You can use this knowledge to drop your Cataclysm before you see a keep or fort going down to have your Cataclysm back up. You can use your Cataclysm this way to push for a fort or keep and then use it to escape afterwards, or you could just double layer a Cataclysm in a team fight or something, in the special case that you might know that a fort or keep's going down. It also increases the damage of Cataclysm, which is really good. His second level 10 talent is Roar. It's an AoE circle shout around him, fearing enemies away. This is actually the second ability in the game that allows you to fear, Gul'dan being the first, and now Deathwing being the second. Running away from you and using this ability in conjunction with Cataclysm or Onslaught, I think is going to be the bread and butter for Deathwing when it comes to his engage. Deathwing's level 7 talent tier is also very unique to him, as all of the talents on this talent tier juice up his Z ability. The first is, upon landing, Deathwing will be able to breathe instantly and cast his Q. Before, the abilities might have a short CD ability, but this allows you to land and start breathing immediately. This would probably pair incredibly good with Roar, as you could land behind the enemy team, cast your Roar, and then start breathing on them. The other level 7 talent that I think is very unique is he has a meteor shower that follows behind him. These meteors seem to target enemy heroes, and hitting heroes with these meteors reduces the CD of your passive Dragonflight. So it's a good way to get into the fight, maybe get a pick on a hero or a couple, and then fly back or reset back to the lane that you were in before and have your Z ready to go again to fly back and fight again. With all the knowledge that we've gained from the video and gameplay that we've seen with Deathwing, some compositions that I think he'll be powerful in are going to be compositions where he's paired with heavy CC or setup. Because of his wind-up abilities, he will play incredibly well versus characters like Raynor and terribly versus characters like Tracer, as his abilities seem to be a bit telegraphed, and if your character has an ability to move out of his damage, then you're going to have a much better time playing against him than something like Raynor, where you're very immobile, and if you get stuck in some lava pool with a Cataclysm under you, you're going to have a bad time. He will pair really well with a character like Jaina. If a Ring of Frost were to land and then you cast your Cataclysm into your breath, I think that would just be the end for the enemy team, leaving them, burned. Whereas a character like Tyrael might be much weaker with Deathwing, as, you're not going to really lock the enemy team down. You're not going to really give him the space or time he needs to land his abilities or deal damage. As far as maps go for Deathwing, I think due to his posture type gameplay, he will be best played on maps where the objectives are required to fight over. These are maps like Infernal Shrines, Volskaya, even Towers of Doom, where your team sets up, their team sets up, and you posture fight each other because you must win the objective. I think it's hard to judge his strength when it comes to the solo lane without playing him, but I know that maps that require a lot of movement and macro play may not be the best for him, as he has no mount and he can only get to the objective when he needs to. This would be a map like Dragonshire, where winning the top lane is important because you hold control of the shrine. Holding control of the shrine as Deathwing might be very hard. If he gets ganked, he's gonna have a bad time getting out of there in comparison to something like Mathiel or Blaze or even Leoric in some cases. Overall, I'm excited for this hero, as it feels like the first time in a long time the Balance team has created something that isn't focused on the competitive aspect of the game. Similar to Cho'Gall, a lot of us fell in love with Heroes of the Storm because of the unique and coolness of the characters that were introduced in the game, and I think Deathwing follows suit when it comes to that. So I'm incredibly excited, and I can't wait to see the chaos that Deathwing will bring to the Nexus. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. If you like, please make sure to throw a like and subscribe to the channel. What are your thoughts on the Deathwing? Where do you think he'll fit in? What type of compositions will he work in? I want your opinions. Let me know in the comment section below. That's going to be it for today's video. Again, appreciate you all. Hope you have a good rest of your day and a good, exciting BlizzCon coming up. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, cheers.